Well, thank you very much, and good morning. It's a great pleasure to be here. I will keep this short so that we can keep the discussion open and get started. I just want to say very briefly, first of all, thank you to the university. It's great to be here. It really is a terrific pleasure for us, and I've noted the commercial about Nicole's contribution. Secondly, it's a particular pleasure for me as the High Commissioner to be able to welcome Mr. Willits, David Willits, who is our Minister of Universities and Science, to Canada, and indeed our distinguished colleagues on the delegation, Mary Bounds, who's Senior Vice Principal of Edinburgh, and Martin Polyakov, who has the great title of Foreign Secretary of the Royal Society. Just very briefly, the whole idea of science and innovation collaboration is very important to my government here in Canada. Nicole heads up a team we have around the country. And the framework in which we do this, I think it's very important to do a little plug here. As you know, the UK and Canada are very close friends. We go back a very long way, and we see a lot of things the same way. And in fact, we had, as you know, our Prime Minister was here a couple of years ago, and he and your Prime Minister signed a joint declaration covering all sorts of expanded collaboration in all sorts of areas. And in fact, I'm actually off to London tonight because your Foreign Minister and my boss, William Hague, are doing another statement of commitment for a new helping of such collaboration. But one important part of that, when that was conceived, was to down the line boost the science and innovation agenda between the two countries, and it led to a joint innovation statement. Now this sounds like all the sorts of declarations and things that people like me get paid to do, but it is actually really substantive, and it's leading to some really active partnerships and so on. So I pay tribute to Nicole, myself, and her team around our country for doing that, but it really is an important thing for us and an important context. And of course, I think today's agenda is particularly interesting, the topic, because how science policy or how science advice relates to government policy. We had, as some of you may know, the British government's chief scientific advisor here at the end of last year. So this is, if you like, a sort of a further adjunct to that, although a much more important one, Minister. And it's really good. And I think the key thing, as I've learned, I've not been in Canada very long, but what I am very clear on is as very old friends, we can learn from each other and speak very openly in so doing. So thank you very much for having us. It's a great pleasure. Minister, thank you again for coming out here. It's great to have the Minister for Science here in Canada. And I will, without, I think, further ado, now hand over to the Minister and invite him to address us all with some remarks and get the conversation going. But thank you very much again for having us. Thank you.